Hi everyone. This is just a quick video. I say quick video, I've recorded this video about 10, 15 times over the course of 6 months, and every single time I've not been happy with it. But fingers crossed this is the one. But anyway, back in December last year, I asked a question to various different people about whether or not they would be interested to see how I got through the year 2020, and kind of give a running update of how I am, and that kind of thing. And I kind of still really want to do this video because, if anything, it feels even more relevant, at least to myself, and it kind of will help me get things out in the air. So yes. So to give a little bit of background, my year 2020 unfortunately started with my dad passing away in January, which, in for all intents and purposes, I felt something break inside me. I had been trying for several years to try and get home, to try and make it so I could work remote, and try and, because I knew that my dad potentially didn't have very long. I didn't, we were expecting him to pass away for years, which is draining in itself. But, and I was trying, to either get a job that I could, allow me to travel back more often, or, visit, be able to move back home through remote. And unfortunately, that never kind of happened. And so I felt this unimaginable, I guess, because I can't even put it into words, guilt for not being able to see my father. And thankfully I did manage to say goodbye to him, or say see him a couple of weeks prior, because it was so early in the year and I saw him just around the new year. So in that regard, I was quite lucky. But there was always the chance that it could have been 6 to 8 months before I was going to see him again. So, and we went through that, and because of the time of year, I think was very slow with getting everything sorted, because outside of COVID, getting things organised in January for funerals and all the rest of it takes a long time, because it's a period of time where it's, fortunately, funerals are busier. So it took roughly 3-4 weeks to have my dad's funeral. Then I went straight back to work a week after, because I could not afford to stay off work, even though I wasn't mentally right for it. But you need money. You need to be able to pay for your rent and your living. And then COVID hit, or started to hit, and we started seeing the implications of that in end of February, start of March, and then a couple of days before my birthday, unfortunately, I lost my job, and then the day after, we all went into lockdown, or a couple of days after, we went into lockdown, and my mental well-being plummeted even further. And kind of I felt lost, I felt distraught, I felt overwhelmed, I felt exhausted, even more so. It amped it up to 11 when I was already at a 10. I was luckily able to find would go straight into self-employed, but obviously I still hadn't had the rest that I needed. And while I thought I did an okay job, I wouldn't say necessarily I did a great job, but I did an okay job. After that 7-month contract happened, and all the meantime, my mental health was getting worse and worse and worse. I was living by myself. I didn't see anyone. I don't live in an area where I could bubble with anyone, and I was feeling worse. There's no two ways around it. Luckily, I was able to go back to my mum's for August, the month of, and kind of that stabilised my mental health from plummeting even further. it didn't necessarily improve, and it did a little bit. I was actually able to smile and laugh without it being fake, I guess. But that as soon as obviously went back, all of that kind of started to happen, and then contract ended at the end of October, and then for November, the rest of November, basically, I spent, okay, I'm going to rest. And I didn't really rest. I started looking for work and all the rest, and I was getting frustrated. And December went. I went back home for Christmas, which was nice. And then lockdown happened, and I wasn't able to travel back, which meant I was missing most of my stuff, which meant I still had to pay my rent. And then still trying to find work, and months went by, and I was still unable to travel back, and constantly getting told no, or I'm not able to find more work and not able to rest. I'm getting more and more exhausted. My body's getting worse, more in pain, and then I was able to find some more remote work starting in April this year, and as soon as I started, I was really happy, and it started, a week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, and then very quickly I realised that I'm not in the right mental state to work still. It might have been a year and a half since my dad passed away, and whether it is that or it's the combination of that and COVID and the loneliness, depression, my body absolutely hating me, causing me constant exhaustion and pain, and still not in the right mindset, and I'm going, oh God, what am I going to do? And thankfully, a week ago, I moved back to my hometown. Found a nice place to live there. I'm near my friends, near my family again. So on that side of things are starting to look up a little bit for me. So there's a glimmer of hope for my mental well-being, in the distance. But then, even just the thought of work is just overwhelming. Stuff I can do without thinking. It'd be live streaming, playing games. Not even necessarily all games, like just very specific games that I've played a lot of, or type of game that I've played a lot of, I can still do. But if it's a completely new genre or a completely new type of game, my brain shuts down, and my brain shuts down has been, misspeaking and all the rest of it for months, and it's so frustrating. And that's a bit of a long TLDR of what I've been going through. But the other aspect of things that I wanted to kind of put a finger on is how I've been coping, how I've been managing it to stop it from becoming as bad as it could have been. And thankfully, because I am trained as a mental health first aider, that I've been able to tell with myself that things aren't right, things aren't great. So I was taking evenings or days away from my computer during the weekends, wherever I could, just to try and wind down a little bit, and it helped. It stabilized me for the week, or it never improved my mood. There's no two ways around it, and certain things would make it my health and whether mental or physical plummet even further. But I was able to stabilize it, to make it stop it from becoming critical, I guess is the right way of saying it, because I was feeling suicidal for the first time in years. And for those that aren't aware, I went through a period of time during university that I was suicidal. I went to counselling, went to therapy, and that helped get certain things out of my system. It helped me learn to adapt and control and manage those feelings. And with the pure loneliness of last year and everything that happened, not being able to go to various friends' funerals, for example, which was a pure heartache, and like being able to say goodbye to them, Losing friends is it's never easy. Losing family, in regards to my dad's being lonely, all of these things. It's all I've been basically doing is keeping, getting these brief moments of fresh air while I've got a lead weight strapped to my leg and I'm in the middle of the sea, and that's how I still feel. And I'm now I've moved, and I'm going to be going back to my doctor again, and see if I can get them to put me on, going to counselling, because I can't afford counselling outside. So thank God for the NHS for that, and hopefully don't get put onto a huge list. But trying to do anything and everything that I can, and it's not like it's that I feel that it is so completely and utterly daunting that I will never find my way again. I don't feel that. It's not like the same kind of pain that I went through at university, but it's the best way to describe it is it's just pure exhaustion. Like, I'm constantly fighting against my own mind and body to try and make myself do the bare minimum of living, whether it is work, whether it is, washing up, making myself food, cleaning up, things that need to be done. And, the majority of the time, I don't really even play video games anymore. I don't watch TV. I kind of just stare at my screen and go, what should I do? And then kind of just look and I browse, and I doom scroll on Twitter, and it's not good. It's not great. It's not fun. But as I said, there's this slight glimmer of hope, which I've always managed to somewhat keep, because I knew eventually things will get better. They have to. Well, they don't have to, but there's always the chance. Every new day can bring that opportunity where your mind might just go, you know what, we might just make you feel better today. And that one day that of being okay might help stabilize you for the future. And that's kind of one of the things that I'm kind of hoping for, and doing talking to people online, my friends, kind of making people laugh. These kind of things can have helped, because of course they do. Helping other people smile gives a semblance of almost not normality, because I don't feel like I'm very necessarily good at it, but it's it's a little bit of positivity that I can kind of share with myself. And yes, it is selfish, but I am of the mindset, if I can help other people, then that's good for me as well. If I can help myself, I can help other people. I feel like it goes both ways. But yeah, so I kind of just wanted to do this very quick video that's a bit rambly, not very well structured or constructed or anything like that, but just kind of put a little point of where I am, I guess, which is just wading through a swamp with a weight on my legs, every now and then going into a divot where it's filled with murky, dirty water, barely keep my head above, and then the fog comes in and I can't see where I'm going, which is basically how I feel for both my brain and body. My mind fog is so unbelievably frustrating, but I do feel the slight glimmer of hope, and I try to be as PMT as possible, positive, keeping my positive mental thought as much there as possible, and just getting on with things as best as I can. But it's like I'm running at 10% of what I would normally be constantly, and getting on with it at 10% is all well and good, but you can only do that for so long. So yeah, that is me in a nutshell. I know this is not positive or kind of nice video to put out. I know this channel is very much on mental health and trying to inform and all the rest of it, but I kind of wanted to just share my own troubles, because that's one thing I'm not shy about, is talking about it. No matter how I feel, I want to put a light onto the fact that it's okay to talk about it. I've been talking to my mum about it. I've been talking to my family, my friends and family about it in general, and it helps. It really does. I have talked to doctors about it in the past. I'm going to be talking to them again in the future, very soon this week. Hopefully, if we can get an appointment. Because I actually need to sign up because I've just moved. But it's a matter of just keeping at it, and know that people are there for you. Just try to believe in yourself. I know it's not necessarily always possible or easy to do, but things aren't guaranteed to get better, but there's always that chance. But yeah. My name's John, or Strax, no matter what you want to call me. Please, if comment below how you've been coping with the past year if you've watched this video. And for those that made it this far, please look after yourselves and take care of yourselves. COVID is still a running threat. We should make sure we look after ourselves and others by treating it appropriately. But more than anything, just make sure you look after yourself and others. I've been Job. Take care of yourself.